Could the Seattle Seahawks be in the trade market for New York Jets edge rusher Haason Reddick after the Uchenna Nwosu injury news? We have new developments to get to on the trade front for Reddick that we'll talk about and break down the possibility of him ending up in Seattle coming up on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. With the Seahawks on a 3-game losing streak, they did make a big trade on Monday. Would you like to see the Seahawks make another big move? If so, like today's video. Let's get at least 300 likes on today's video if you want to see John Schneider and company be aggressive. Let your voices be heard, and we'll get started with today's show. So we have some interesting new developments going on with Haason Reddick in his situation with the New York Jets, as he's got a new agent. The Jets just lost to the Bills after a coaching change. And then Davante Adams is now a member of the Jets. So what does that mean for Haason Reddick now? Well, this update on Tuesday morning from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. She posted on X the following. The Jets have given Haason Reddick and his reps a short window to seek a trade per sources. His new representation, Drew Rosenhaus, has been reaching out to teams over the last 12 hours to gauge interest. So with that said, this is totally different from what the Jets had been saying over the last couple of months. If you recall, all we heard from the Jets was that they were not interested in trading Haason Reddick, that they were going to play the waiting game and await for his arrival and then potentially get a new contract done. So now this is a evolving situation. And when it comes to trading Haason Reddick, one thing that I found very fascinating is that usually with these trades, you typically see that the team that is making the trade wants to get that player out of their conference, so they're not a competitor, right? Well, this one is a little bit different. Reddick going to the NFC actually might be a little more difficult to potentially pull off, and let us explain why. Josina Anderson of CBS Sports putting this out on Tuesday morning. New in other Jets headlines, I'm told the Eagles will get a 2026 second-round pick from the Jets if Haason Reddick gets traded to an NFC team per multiple sources. That's the other condition involved in the trade for Reddick to the Jets that was newly reported in the tweet below 2 weeks ago. And Josina referring to another tweet of hers. So with that said, the Jets actually have more incentive based on that to trade him within the AFC as opposed to trading him to an NFC team like the Seattle Seahawks. So here's some things you need to know. Reddick actually has the same agent, Drew Rosenhaus, now as Connor Williams. And Drew Rosenhaus, of course, was able to get the deal done to get Connor Williams to Seattle. So there's already an established relationship there. Reddick's agent, Rosenhaus, has indicated that he wants him to stay with the New York Jets, that is their number one priority, to get a deal done for him to stay in New York. We've heard the Jets say they would welcome him back into their locker room with open arms. But the Jets are open to a trade, as they gave him permission to seek that trade, but it's with a limited window to get a trade done. Obviously, the trade deadline's coming up on November 5th, but the Jets are looking to move quickly on this one way or another. If he is traded, based on the amount of time that Haason Reddick would be playing this year because of the time he's already missed, the price tag would go down significantly. Remember, his base salary entering this year was about $15 million. The new team that he could play for would only owe Reddick $10 million this year, and we'll explain why that's good news for the Seahawks here in just a moment. And this comes on the heels of the Seahawks placing Uchenna Nwosu on IR with that thigh injury, his second injury of the season. And we don't know exactly when or if Uchenna Nwosu is going to return in 2024, leaving the Seahawks shorthanded at the edge rusher spot. So with that said, it is unlikely that the Seahawks trade for Haason Reddick at this point in time, but it's not impossible for them to get a deal done. I think what you're looking at for a potential trade at this point is the Jets getting about a third-round pick, and then the Seahawks taking on Haason Reddick, and you would also have to figure out not only the trade capital and all that, but also likely get a new deal done with Haason Reddick as well to make this happen. Should the Seahawks trade for Haason Reddick? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in and let us know. Today's show is sponsored by one of our newest partners here at Chat Sports, Public Rec. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now, and I got to tell you, not only does this shirt look good, it's extremely comfortable as well. Let's be real, guys. Wearing pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric digging into your family jewels was necessary to go out and look put together? Well, I'm here to tell you that those days are finally over. Public Rec has developed the revolutionary Daymaker pant that feels as comfortable as sweats, but look and fit like tailored pants. They're super stretchy and made with an elastic waistband, but you can wear them absolutely anywhere. Wear them lounging around the house, eating Cheetos, or football Sundays with the boys. You can even wear them on the first date, and no one will know you're wearing sweats. You can finally have indoor comfort with outdoor style by wearing Public Rec's Daymaker pants. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off their entire order when you use the code CHAT at publicrec.com. That's 20% off your order at publicrec.com with promo code CHAT. Stop the suffering in regular pants. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT at publicrec.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. More on Haason Reddick. The resume, you guys know, it's impressive. A second-team All-Pro selection in 2022, coming off back-to-back Pro Bowl appearances. He was the co-leader in forced fumbles in 2022. You could argue that going into this year that Haason Reddick's in his prime, that he's playing the best football of his career as of late. And you look at the statistics. Last season had 11 sacks with the Eagles. In 2022, part of that Eagles team that went to the Super Bowl, was a key playmaker for them with 16 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 11 tackles for loss. And you think about where the Seahawks are at right now, this team, if they want to be a serious threat, and although they're on a 3-game losing streak, the door certainly has not closed on them being a contending team and still winning this division, even with the loss of the San Francisco 49ers. If they are going to be a threat at this point, they need to make a splash of some sorts. And we've seen the pass rush really struggle after a strong start to this season. The Seahawks have had problems getting after the quarterback, as we can attest to last Thursday night when they didn't have a single sack on Brock Purdy. The question becomes for this Seahawks team, with the situation as it stands right now, will it get better before it gets worse? Will this Seahawks team figure things out with the guys they have and see improvement, or will it spiral and continue to go downhill from here at this point? You look at the Seahawks sack leaders right now. Derek Hall has had a very strong second-year campaign with 5 sacks. But beyond that, Boye Mafe hasn't looked as good as what he was in 2023. He's got just 3 sacks. Terrell Dodson, Jaron Reed, Draymond Jones, each with 2 sacks. Draymond Jones, of course, has been a major disappointment for all the money that he's being paid of $20+ million. And you think about this, the Seahawks, with their situation now, comparably speaking to when they were talking about, when we mentioned the possibility of trading for Haason Reddick a couple months ago, is that with him being owed just $10 million to a team, if he were to get traded, that works within the Seahawks cap space right now, as they currently have about $12 million. So they could pull this off if they wanted to for this year. The problem becomes the long-term contract that Haason Reddick is seeking potentially, because you think about this, the Seahawks next year are about $25 million over the cap as is, with the roster that's coming back if those guys that are all under contract return, obviously, and there'll be several players that won't. You guys know that. So with that said, not only are you talking about potentially pulling off a trade and the obstacles that come with pulling off said trade of draft capital and all that, but also working out the contract and going to an NFC team and the challenges that come with that. So there's a lot of hurdles to get this done, but it's not impossible for Seattle to potentially do this. And you think about this defense. With the struggles that they've faced after a strong start to this season, you have to wonder, are they going to turn things around? Is this Seahawks defense going to get back on track? I think that based on what we've seen the last few weeks, I don't trust this defense as is to get the job done. They need to do something different. Haason Reddick could be the answer they're potentially looking for. Will the Seahawks defense turn things around? What do you guys think? Are you confident that this group can get the job done or not? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Weigh in, let us know what you think. Folks, we appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to the channel. We're closing in on 58,000 subscribers, but certainly could need your help to get there as we're bringing you our daily news and rumors. We have our live shows every Wednesday, watch parties every game day, Q&A mailbags. The most interactive Seahawks channel on YouTube is right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.